Thank you very much for your time, first of all. And I would like to ask you about leadership within the international associations. How do you see this challenge? How is it today to be in front of an association? And how do you see this role?
Ooh, that is a loaded question. Being in a leadership position is always difficult. Being a leader of an association has evolved over time. Being a leader for a global association is super difficult at this time because there's so many factors affecting things beyond your control. We're talking macroeconomics, geopolitics, member retention, growing membership, a new rise of new members. How do you deliver a value proposition? How do you compete with the corporate world, which is trying to fill some of those gaps, which have been left due to the fact that associations are moving much slower when it comes to change. And especially coming out of the pandemic, a lot of the associations don't have their own funds anymore. They are depleted, so they need to replenish those funds. And in the meantime, there was left a vacuum and gap. So how do you now make your association strong again? Being a leader in that space. And a lot of associations have also moved to a remote workforce. So how do you connect with your staff, keep them motivated, respond effectively to member inquiries? Those are all tons of challenges the leaders are facing in today's world.
And how can you deal with all that? How is it possible to face so many challenges?
There's different ways, obviously. A lot of association leaders I know, they depend a lot on some of their peers, learning from peer to peer. That seems to work really well because you're not alone in this space. Having empathy, but also showing yourself some grace. You can't solve everything. Prioritizing and being really empathetic towards your staff, towards the situation, but most importantly, control what you can and trying to really block out the noise of all of the things beyond your control. It's very hard to lead in a time of uncertainty, but there are things you can deal with. One thing which I also see in this space is the need to step away every now and then to see the bigger picture, because of all the challenges, the everyday life can be overwhelming. So really stepping away and trying to see the bigger picture is one of the ways to cope with such a really diverse and uncertain environment.
And how do you see the role of meetings and events nowadays for associations?
So for associations, the meetings are still one of the biggest revenue generator, which is non-use. A lot, and what they will have to do, and that is only my personal opinion, is they will have to rethink of how to make their meetings so valuable that they are the not to be missed event of the year or of every 2 years for their members. Because the certain environment which we are in, with digital transformation and everything being available for their members at their fingertips, this is also a time of opportunity for associations, and their meetings are their biggest vehicle to bring those experts together in a face-to-face environment. because there you can trust that you're actually talking into a person and it's not deep fake, or that you are not getting information which is hallucinated. I'm not saying technology is not good. Technology is super. We should be embracing it. But this is a great opportunity for the meetings industry in general, but also for associations, because those in-person meetings are now critical for us to ascertain our space as the expert in a certain field we are in.
Mhm. But would you say that it's nowadays more difficult to attract people to a meeting than it used to be? Mm.
Yes, if you are not able to demonstrate the why. And that is not anything new, but it is just very elevated and emphasized that in the past we could be a little bit lazy, I would say, in our marketing, because people were coming anyway. Now people are much more careful where they are spending their time and money, because traveling has become a little bit of a chore these days with canceled flights, overbooked flights, and weather delays. So there's so many things outside of our control, which makes us reluctant to travel to begin with. But then if we can clearly demonstrate the why and have a clear value proposition, this is for you essential. It is not a time away from your work and from your family, but in a short period of time, 3-4 days, you actually have the opportunity to collaborate, network, do business, establish new research. There's so much opportunity in those very in-person meetings that unless we really have that opportunity to connect, unless organizers are making the space and the formats, change the formats for us to be able to do all those things, and unless we communicate that, we will not be able to sustain meetings as they were.
We also have younger generations arriving to events as attendees. How is this impacting the way we deliver events nowadays? They expect different things from.
Oh, it's huge. We just had a conversation here at ICCA yesterday at a smaller group discussion, and it was very clearly communicated by associations that all of their young generations, they want different formats. They want hands-on training, which requires the venue to provide different spaces. And that may not be totally reflected in the request for proposals. So really connecting with the organizers would be an advice for any convention bureau, for any hotel, for any venue, to understand what this new generation needs, what the association needs to create that opportunity for the younger generation to be more involved and engaged. They will not just come and sit down and listen to lectures of 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that providers from the meetings industry have done a good job connecting with associations and telling them that they can have some help to organize their own events? Or sometimes there's a gap here and associations are still a little bit lost in this context?
Again, I want to refer to the conversations we had yesterday, and what came out of it was communication. There is a huge gap. And I don't know if you ever watched the show Location. Well, it's communication is the buzzword. And that's again, nothing new. It just has really come to the forefront because of all of the other challenges. We need to communicate. What do you really need? Oh, okay. What are your must-haves? Where can we negotiate? as a venue, as a destination, but also vice versa, as an association. This is what I really need, but I'm flexible on timing. I'm flexible on this. What have you done with other associations? Give me advice. How can I make things better? You know your space better. You know your city better. So this is the opportunity to have some kind of different conversations, because I can find online all about the capacity of a hotel or a space, but I can't find that soft information. And also for the supplier side, they can find a lot in the eco database online about the association, but they can't find that, again, soft information. What are your challenges? How can I help you meet those? Are you looking for partners in a destination? Oh, I can actually connect you. You can grow membership, or you can make a legacy and impact.
Mhm. And is it sustainability uh, incorporated in the needs of associations when they think about their own events, their own meetings, or do you think that there are still a gap once again between the speeches and the practice?
And here is again, we have to talk about the definition of sustainability. When we talk about sustainability, are we doing this, like a checklist? That can be perceived still as, okay, a nice to have, but it shouldn't. When we're talking about sustainability, it should be considered holistically in the success of the association and its meeting. So in order for the meeting to be successful, you need to showcase the sustainable growth what are you doing in order to have that meeting in a destination, and which will not reflect badly on the association. So you need to be really mindful. It should be ingrained in your entire operational process, rather than look at it like, okay, have we checked off every box?
Mhm. And do you think that convention bureaus are doing a good job in this field? Because I believe that they are a key player connecting a lot of stakeholders.
The convention bureaus, so from my knowledge, most of the convention bureaus actually have a sustainability report. But do they ever include that in their bid document? Or do they tell the association, do you want to see our sustainability report? This is what we do as a destination. This is what we do as a venue. No, no, they don't. I think most of them, they don't. Very few of them will say, we actually have a sustainability report. Do you want to receive a copy? And that is the minority, and they don't even include it, but at least they are highlighting that they are doing it. But on the other hand, associations are also not asking for it, because they don't even know they should be asking that the bureaus actually have that.
Mhm. And in terms of legacy, we talk about legacy, that events should live on a destination, for instance. Is it easy to work on this field, or once again, do you feel that convention bureaus are there to help or ready to help on this purpose?
I think the most destinations, most of the legacy is driven by destinations, but it should be driven by the associations in collaboration with the destinations. We can't be forcing somebody to have a legacy or an impact story in my destination unless I know what is your mission and value and where do you want to go. We have to align that. You can't drive it from one side only. It has to be a collaborative effort. It is not easy. And why do I say it should be driven by the association? Because it should be from the outset in the request for proposals, they should very clearly state, this is the legacy we want to leave with this meeting. Because that will give clear indications to any destinations interested. Should I even bid for this? Because if I can't meet that legacy aspiration, then I shouldn't even be bidding. But what it also helps is if I know what the legacy is and what success looks like, we can determine from the outset what are our criteria to measure success. And unless you measure what success looks like, you will never be able to demonstrate the legacy.
We already talked about technology. How do you see technology and AI, for instance, impacting events or associations in the future?
I'm very curious by nature, so I keep on testing. I think technology is critical. AI has been a revelation in terms of how you can leverage not only engagement, but yet be much more inclusive and have everybody participating. And that's a huge difference. You know, people are engaged, but you need to go to the next level. I think inclusivity means you're making it available for everybody, for the voices to be heard. And I think that's where AI really comes in. When we are at the in-person meetings, how many times have you been in roundtable discussions and there's two people talking and you don't hear the other voices? Well, with AI today, we can have every voice heard. If it feeds in, and AI is actually helping us filter out, showcase, summarize all of those initiatives. And people really appreciate, even the most introvert, even the most neurodivergent people love seeing that their voice has been heard.
And how important is to be connected with an association like ICCA from your perspective?
ICCA is, I think, one of the biggest players, and if you are serious in the international association market, you should be connected to ICCA. I mean, it's not even a question of it. You should definitely be part of ICCA because this is where all the players within the international association ecosystem are. And this is where you can find potential business leads, where you can learn, where you can network, where you can forge connections and long-lasting relationships, which will, in the end of the day, benefit everybody.
And what would you like to take from this conference here in Porto?
What I'm taking with me is a lot of inspiration of how important it is to really change the mindset of association boards, because I work for an association management company, how important it is to start looking at the young generation, changing those formats, providing more hands-on experiences, and really driving that conversation between the different stakeholders and being much more open.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very
You're
much for
welcome.
your time.